Get 'em.
Welcome, folks. Y'all come on in and make yourself at home. This here, well, this is the Rolling Thunder Podcast, your home for all things Rolling Thunder. This episode is brought to you by Mossy Oak, because everything is better in Bottomland. Kent Cartridge, quality matters, performance counts. Shen Gear, waterfowl gear that is built better. And Benelli USA, dominate the skies.
Alrighty, welcome to this episode of the Rolling Thunder Podcast. Man, this week we were joined by Mr. Roll Tide Riles himself, Mr. Riley Bennett. Riles, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm making it. I'm a little tired. It's been a long duck season.
Yes, it's been cold here recently. It's been long, and we're right here at the very end of it. So.
Yeah, we're gonna want these days back here in a few weeks, but I know everybody's kind of starting to look towards turkeys already. But we got a few days left.
Yeah, I'd be guilty of the turkey crowd myself. I've been back looking at pictures and videos for about a week or so now. So.
Yeah, starting to see all the NWTF ads running, and we'll be shifting gears here shortly.
And that's where I really shine, is NWTF. That's what I look forward to.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Well, before we get into, we'll just talk your story a little bit, but before we get into it, how's duck season been from your eyes? Like, what have you seen? How was the season? I know we're not done yet, but how's it been for you?
Yeah. I don't know whose idea it was to bring Mojos back, but I think that was a horrible idea.
Yeah, it's been a thing.
You'll still see them. They're a dime a dozen now, but just the big groups, finishing big groups early season, like I remember, and talking to buddies, a lot of buddies say the same thing. Like, I think the Mojos have absolutely directly correlated to not finishing big groups of ducks, early season. You'd run a big group, see a big group. It affects the bigger groups of ducks, in my opinion. I don't know what you think about it, but a lot of the guys that I talk to, that's kind of what we've been talking about.
Yeah, people have been kind of saying that. From what I've picked up, like, as long as Mojos have been around, that like they've slowly seen a decrease in finishing some of those big groups. I know there's some folks in different areas that have different rates of success. Running some traffic in some places. See that some of them big spreads in Missouri or West Tennessee, but for the most part, it seems like they're a lot more effective on those smaller groups, those singles, those 2s, 3s, 4s, as opposed to a 50 or 60, a big old wad.
Right. I do like. I guess I like being able to. If there's any good that came of it, the DPs, being able to use the DP, that's been awesome. But we've been fortunate with good water, really, mainly all year.
Yeah,
we've had water run around on, spread some people out. Actually got to hunt this year a time or two without hearing a duck call. That was cool.
That's awesome.
From somebody else, like in another group. So, but man, it's been a good season. Got to get after them a lot. Learned a lot this year. Got to hunt with new groups of guys here and there. I know that a lot of the off season, man, we need to get together and hunt. Me and Drake were trying to make a point and do that a little bit better this year with some of our buddies, and we did, and we had a blast, man, getting to hunt with new guys and see how they do it and how they roll as a crew. That's always fun. So.
Yeah, because even you may hunt similar areas, but everybody approaches things a little bit differently, and it seems like for the most part, everybody's had an okay year. It's been a weird year from about everybody I've talked to. It's been a lot of ups and downs. I think the water point's a good one. Like, nobody could complain about lack of water really this year. Maybe in a few certain places that somebody wanted water at a certain time, but there was water around. The migration's kind of been weird. Seems like there's been ducks and then haven't been ducks, but it kind of benefited the guys that can just go every day, you know, and can kind of stay on them. You can't just show up to the same spot you've always hunted and expect to do as good as you've always done. But overall, it seems like most folks have had an okay year.
Yeah, man. It was early season. Got to have plenty of water to roam on, and got to hunt some things with like leaves on the trees that I'd always, you know, I'd found since we'd had, you know, good water early season. I was like, man, that's pretty hard. I'd like to see that with leaves on the trees, and I go back in there in some of those places and shoot some ducks. That was cool. I'd say 2 of those hunts was like that, and those are 2 of my favorite hunts so far this year. And it wasn't due to we burned them up those 2 days. It was just a couple groups of ducks and a couple of my favorite holes, you know, and with leaves on the trees. It was just pretty.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I try not to be, you know, a holier than thou type in any way, but I'm definitely to the point now where I don't have to kill, you know, 100 in a day. But like if you get a couple of groups or like a good group to like do it right, and it's like, man, that's what it's all about, and that's all it takes. You know, like let's go ahead and pack it up.
Yeah.
We can go home. Let's get warm and eat breakfast.
Yeah, I'm good now. That was the show. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'll shoot 100.
First
you know,
flip.
but
Oh yeah, we got the people for it.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody's got the ducks in their pile. You know, for you know the law dogs out there. No party hunting out here.
Sure.
They're good and separating the birds, but yeah, I'll do that. That's always fun. But like you're saying, if you can get tucked away somewhere you don't necessarily have to compete for, and you're in a spot you're partial to, pretty hole and stuff like that, man. You can't beat something like that either.
Yeah, I'll try to get a few hunts every year, just me and the dog. Like, you know, you're not gonna shoot a pile, but it's like, man, if I shoot my, you know, 3-4 ducks and get out of there, like it's always a good time. But
yeah. I'm afraid I burned up one of my spots like that. I have with me and 2 buddies we like to go to and try to just shoot 12, you know, every year. And I went in there like a week or so before it just got water, and I was just, you know, more or less just seeing, well, we shot them all right in there. And then since then, it just kind of, I tried to take them in there, and we tried to have our little hunt, and was no bueno, and just hadn't really lined out since then. But got 6 leads, so that was cool.
Yeah, we'll take what you can get out of those spots. It's good to have those in your back pocket. Man, for anybody who's listening to the podcast, maybe they're still new to the brand or not quite as familiar with, you know, the team at Rolling Thunder. You are one half of the tuning room.
I mean, half of the department in here.
Yeah. I don't know what y'all's hierarchy is inside those 4 walls, but from the outside, it's you know, you and Drake are running that show. So how long have you been tuning calls with Rolling Thunder?
Man, let's see. This will be my 3rd duck season up here tuning. So 3 years, and really the past 2 years with the volume and stuff, man, that's really just been full-time tuning. You know, we get in here like this duck season, our schedule's been get caught up as fast as we can on whatever. I mean, it may be a Sunday, it's raining on a Sunday, and I'll poke back over here. There'll be a couple hundred calls or something. Me and Drake come in and knock them out. And that means, you know, sanding the machine marks, because they're all CNC acrylic calls that we make here out of the shop. So we're machining them or sanding the machine marks out of it, and shaping those tone boards. And I know you know a little bit about that. That takes a good little bit of time.
Yep.
So you know, that say we've got 250 calls or so. That's every bit of 2 days worth of sanding, chewing cork, cutting reeds, and the whole 9, and piecing them together. But yeah, that's right now. That's our day to day in here. Off season, it's a little different. We help out in the leather room. I think today, I'm here today. Vince has got me running an engraver for some turkey pots. I guess the turkey orders are rolling in, so it all turns into all hands on deck at some point. But I really enjoy it when the days that I get to come in here and just knock out duck calls, because that's a fun job there for sure.
Yeah, and so you're not from Tennessee. We call it Roll Tide Riles, but you're an Alabama boy. So man,
Yep, Scottsboro, Alabama.
yeah. So
Scotts country over there on the northeast corner.
yeah. How does somebody from tell us about Scottsboro, Alabama? How did you get connected with duck calling and chasing ducks? Like, that's not what people think of when they think of Alabama. You know?
Yeah. Well, right there in Scottsboro, we were fortunate to be on Lake Gunnersville, and the Tennessee River ran right through us. So I grew up spending my whole life on the water as a little pup. And Dad, he never really he duck hunted. He wasn't his favorite thing to do. He was a deer hunter, but I think he's seen how much I like duck hunting, and that's whenever he started. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. We was going duck hunting every weekend. So get into junior high. Well, I guess I could pause and it was probably third grade. We had like a school play, and it was a duck commander theme play or something, and I had to borrow a duck call from Dad. And I was like, Dad, can you teach me how to blow it? I don't want to go up here in front of the whole school and act like an idiot. I don't know how to blow this thing. Well, he said, well, I'll be honest with you. I can tell you what I know, but if you really want to learn how to blow a duck call, you need to start practicing now, because I'm not the man to teach you. I'm no good at it. So pretty much from that point forward, you couldn't pry a duck call out of my hands. I met a lot of people know him, very talented. Byron Womack and David Womack, whenever I got into like junior high school age, started needing rides from ball practice and stuff, I'd met Byron. And then go to their house all the time, and they're phenomenal duck callers. And they also know Spence Halford, which got me connected, just met him from being around Byron all the time, met him through the years. And fortunately, I'd learned enough to where one time I was around Spence and was blowing a call at NWTF one year, and he heard me, and that was whenever we really kind of got introduced. And he shook my hand, got my name, got my number, and I was really wanting to, that was pre-COVID, I was wanting to get into contest calling at that time. Well, COVID kind of just hit, contest shut down, and we still kept in touch. And after COVID, I started doing some shows and contests for them, and now we're here, kind of just transpired into all that.
Heck yeah, that's one heck of a ride.
Yeah, it's a long roundabout way, but I've been in love with duck calls since I was a little kid, for sure.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine if you could go back in time and talk to that little, third grade Riley and say, "Hey, one day you're gonna get to do this for a living,"
Oh no, yeah, he wouldn't have believed it. He just said, "There's no such way. There's no no way you can." But
yeah, so
I'm fortunate. It's a blessing for sure.
Do you remember your first duck hunt?
First duck hunt I do. I remember vaguely, I remember getting carried.
Okay.
I remember getting carried. I remember not being able to shoulder my shotgun on the pair of mallards, and it was on some private land, not far from the refuge. It was like a little flooded corn place. But yeah, it was a youth hunt. I want to say I was around the age of 6. I don't think I was 5. I think I was like 6. And I couldn't shoulder the shotgun, and it was a pair of mallards, and couldn't keep my gun up long enough for whenever they'd come back by to take a shot at them. So first hunt was a ofer. We struck out that time. But the next year we went out, and I got my first duck was a hen gadwall, as it should be out there on Gunnersville.
Yep.
And then, yeah, from that point forward, it was hook, line, and sinker. Couldn't keep me off the river looking for the next gadwall.
Yeah, them old brown ducks. That's the staple out there. Gadwall and cans.
Yeah.
I know the diver situation's changed a little bit, but I mean that was.
Yes. Yeah. I was actually talking to some buddies last night. I guess that some have showed up, rode this little weather front end on that East Coast, and there's some, I don't think it's crazy amounts. He's like, that's nothing like, we get real excited for, but he's got to take his girlfriend out there this weekend. I guess try to shoot her. It'll be her first duck.
Oh heck yeah! Yeah, I know over on my side of the state, Northwest Alabama, they killed a bunch of grass this year, and it's definitely made an impact as far as us holding the ducks and divers that we typically do along the river. It's definitely changed a lot.
Yep.
But man, my first
Absolutely.
duck hunt was over there on Gunnersville, so that lake will always be special to me. And I spent way too much
Oh, yeah.
time walling around that mud up at Mud Creek and around Fackler, and getting Jeep
Yeah.
stuck, trying
Yeah.
to find a shortcut here and there. And man, it's a
Yeah.
special place. People sleep on it, but it can be real special when the birds show up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You hear all the old timers talk and tell the tales of the days of lore back then, and there was definitely a lot better hunting to be had even before we were coming up there, and we just got a little sliver of it. But yeah, I'd say the mallard hunting in that little area is probably blacked off a good bit, just from what I've been told from all the buddies back home.
Yeah, if anybody likes to read, there's a book you can still find it every now and then, but it's by Vic Daly called Fall Flight in Alabama, and it's a super cool read about the history of kind of waterfowling there in North Alabama, and there's some really cool
Neat.
stuff in there.
That's neat. It was neat. I don't guess I'd realize that. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah. You can still find it. I don't know if he's still got it in print, but you can still find them online every now and then. So it's a good read.
Yeah. Yeah. I still like to slip back there and go fishing, though. That's for sure. That's
Yeah.
one thing that place doesn't lack him.
No, it's definitely. I mean, that was a frustrating thing for a while hunting. Sometimes, like dealing with all the glitter boats and some of the bass tournaments.
Oh, yeah, the glitter boat. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've got some colorful adjectives for the bass fishermen, and it's nothing against those guys. It's just while we're out there hunting, you see them. And, which I was a bass fisherman myself out there, but it was just always at the most inconvenient times when you seen the glitter boat coming around the bend.
Yep. And hey, some of them are out there trying to make a living, so I can't fault them for it. But
Maybe
you
even
just
trying
wish
to get
that.
like duck season. They're probably just crappie fishing too. Trying to
Yep.
get some food on the table for the honey back home. And
But that's just part of it.
But-
Well, heck yeah.
It is, yeah. But that was a fun place to really kind of cut my teeth, and because it was a melting pot of ducks moving through that area. You got to go shoot your divers in the evening if you didn't shoot all your ducks, in the morning time. We did that a lot. Go out on the river and try to find a canvasback, and then you got to play around with your puddle ducks and try to kill those.
So when did you make the transition from the big water North Alabama to Arkansas woods?
I started coming out. Well, that was whenever I met Byron, in probably 8th or 9th grade. I can't remember if it was 8th grade, because we had a wreck in Memphis on our way out one time, and I think that was like my 8th grade year. I couldn't drive yet, so I could have been a freshman. Right around that time, 14, 15 years old, I started going out with Byron, and then once I could drive, that 16 years old, full of piss and vinegar, that's whenever I started making a trip or two. And then I had a buddy move over to Jonesboro whenever I was still in high school. That was whenever we really got hard in them. Was whenever he moved over just central Arkansas, and we could beat bop around and go do and kind of learn all this and that. That was fun. But yeah, I'd say I'm still fresh. Definitely haven't been up there half the time that most of the guys that I hunt with have been up there. I'm fortunate on that end as well. I've gotten with a pretty good group of guys that taken me in and are willing enough to show me what they know. So that's very handy.
Yeah, that makes all the difference. Like it doesn't take very much, but just the right person to kind of show you along or point out a thing or two. It really makes that learning curve a lot more, obtainable.
Yeah, and you don't get that out of many locals. Most of those guys are pretty partial to their stuff and don't really want to show an outsider anything. But I'd shared a good hunt with him one time, and he had seen it was, after I started working up here, he had seen where I was working up here, and we had got back in touch with each other, and we've been at it ever since. It's been fun with those guys, and they're all a lot older, and I think they just keep me around to feel young again.
I say, man, honestly, like as a younger guy, and then someone who's still relatively new to hunting Arkansas, like there's a big disconnect in teaching folks kind of how things work, or the right way. I say that very loosely because everybody's got some different thoughts on that, but the right way to do things. And there's a lot of kids, like I say kids, like a lot of folks running around that are still new to hunting that don't have somebody that's showing them the ropes. And honestly, like it looks like it's leading to a lot of the problems that we're all facing. And if most of us or a lot of us would be willing to just have a few more conversations, and just kind of show somebody who doesn't know, man, it's going to make everybody's life easier. As opposed to just trying to compete and just trying to beat the guy next to us. Like we can kind of make this better for everybody.
It's all how you approach that group of guys too. I feel like, because they're scared for their life too. They're in the thick of it. One instance this year, we had gotten a hole, and these guys went right on down from us. And it was a deeper spot where they was at, and I had an idea that they probably just was going there because they got beat. Everything was filling up, and this is kind of all they knew. And I was like, guys, I went over there too, and I was like, guys, it's deep over here, ain't it? And they just kind of, we can't find anywhere to stand. I was like, well, we are really close. And they had just told me, I was like, well, this is all that we know, this, that, and the other. And those are the guys that I hunt with. I brought them over there with them and kind of talked to them what they thought about it. And they showed them some other spots. But that's just what you just got to be cordial with these guys, because a lot of times, they got no clue, and their intentions aren't to screw you over from the rip.
Yeah.
Like you said, they just a little bit more guidance in the world would be handy. It'd go a long way for sure. Yeah,
man. At the end of the we're all out there trying to enjoy the same thing. And if we can just be a little bit more respectful and kind to one another, that sounds like sappy and stupid, but it really seems like it'd make a difference for some of these situations and altercations that we see going around social media, and nobody wants those. It just leads to more problems for everybody.
Yeah. You got that, and that's a problem in itself. Grown men acting like kids is another big problem as well up there. Obviously, you got your, like you said, the young kids that just a little bit more would go a long way, and that would make things solve a lot of our issues and what we're all out here trying to do. It'd go a lot smoother for everybody if people, were being friendlier to that group of guys that, was right on down to them, rather than just cussing them off the rip and this and that. And then you got your older group of guys that had been here and a little bit more stubborn. There's definitely it's funny whenever you go and talk to a group of guys in the woods, you've got no clue who they are. You don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, some of those conversations definitely don't go as well as others.
Yeah. Which fortunately this year, man, I have not had a bad run-in one this year. Which people listen, but it's been a great year as far as being controlled. We hunted with a group of guys in the first split, and that was some of the most fun camaraderie and stuff on a hunt. It was a bunch of people, but it was fun. Everybody kind of knew each other. If they didn't know each other, they had mutual friends, and it all worked out really good.
Yeah, we ended up opening day, we got beat to where we were trying to go, and ended up sliding over with some boys that we'd met there on the riverbank. They're from Central Arkansas. Ended up being some real good guys, and we had a great morning. Everybody was real polite. Everybody was on the same page. Biggest group of folks I'd ever hunted with, but everybody was trying to kill them the right way, and ended up being fantastic. And I know it doesn't always work that way, but sometimes that little conversation and just being considerate makes all the difference.
Yeah. It takes just going and, like you said, talking to somebody out on the river, and kind of talking again, where y'all going, and then rather than just pulling up, sitting in your boat, you just kind of look at each other looking crazy, like what's he gonna do, if you just talk and kind of figure out where everybody's going, typically works out.
Well, yeah, I got invited to go hunt a public piece over in Mississippi. I guess it was towards the end of December, and this big property, you can't be on the property, like you can't drive onto it until 4 a.m. So everybody lines up, at the gate in their trucks, and at 3:57, all the trucks are running, like guys are already cranking the mud motors, and we were boat number 3 in line, and everybody kind of knew where the first couple of boats were going. Like, I mean, there's one boat ramp, you can't pass anybody, it's a 1-lane road. Well, 4 a.m. hits, and everybody is flying down this single-lane road, 40, 45 miles an hour, hauling down this road. Guys in the back of the boats already. The first 2 boats get to the ramp, and they're in such a hurry to try to dump their boats that they both dump them onto the ramp. And then the guys had to get out and, like, slide them down the concrete, into the water. And it was like, man, they were the first 2 boats. Like, nobody could pass them. They could have taken all morning if they wanted to. And everybody knew where everybody was going. It was like, man, we've made this so much harder than it has to be. We're really fighting ourselves, and adding a level of stress that we don't have to have. But yeah, it was.
When was that again? Was that pretty recent?
That was towards the end. It was the end of December.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're on into both seats, tired. We just ain't using our minds correctly.
Yeah. It was pretty wild. I said we were boat 3, and we're just sitting there watching. Like, my mind was absolutely blown. I was like, why are we in a hurry to do this? But,
yeah.
But anyway.
You love the chaos. You'll miss the chaos here in a few weeks.
I know.
When then, it's nice when you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
For sure. Always nicer when you don't have to be dealt with. But there is something to say whenever you pull up to a boat ramp and it's rowdy.
Yeah, there's
a bunch of people there. That kind of gives you a little bit of self-assurance. Like, well, most of the time, people wouldn't be acting like idiots for no reason. There ought to be some ducks to shoot.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's what I always tell myself whenever I'm in the middle of, like, there was a time or two this year where I was hunting and 60-plus boats at the dang ramp, on a pinch gate. And I was actually, my whole plan was 4 a.m., let them put in. I'm going to be right there, 401, 402 putting in. I'll just follow it,
Yeah.
I got no business being in the thick of it, but I'm going to be right there, around the thick of it. So that, I was just telling myself that morning, those few mornings, I was like, man, it's going to be good. We had shot some ducks in there, and I was like, there's a reason for all this. It'll be worth it once we get in there.
Yeah, there's a reason folks are here. We hunted, I guess it was second week of the season. We tried to get away from some folks, so we kind of made a last-minute change and showed up at this boat ramp, and we were the only truck there. And I said, this ain't going to be good. Like, there's a reason there ain't nobody here. And sure enough, there was a reason that nobody was there. But we got away from everybody all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it can work out. Sometimes you can be the smartest guy out there. Sometimes you can just be out there.
Yeah. But, well, as we kind of wrap up ducks and start transition to turkeys, you got a big turkey tour planned?
And if we can, me and old Levy can iron out these deets, we're supposed to go see what Oregon is like.
Okay.
And I wouldn't mind doing Oregon, Washington State, Idaho.
Nice.
On one. We'll see.
Yeah,
we gotta iron some things out. That's going to be in May. We got a lot of things before that. I always try to shoot my turkey in Alabama before I really get too crazy in anything else. Go back home, buddy hunt for a couple weekends, and then I want to say second week in April we got our big Kentucky trip. That
nice. Is that same trip y'all went on last year?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. With Gabe and all those guys and Carter Filthy. It's a good time, man. It's a dude's trip, and turkeys are a bonus, but there's a bunch of turkeys for sure.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I didn't travel much last year.
Nothing too. I mean, Oregon's crazy, but there's only 2 we've talked about.
Yeah, I stayed at home, and man, Alabama was really, really good to me last year. So I'm gonna try to go somewhere. I don't know it probably won't be a very long trip, but I want to go somewhere, just see something new. I mean, it's honestly almost as much that as battling a turkey, but I want to go see some new ground, go see something different. And I mean, those Alabama hills are fun, but they're tiring for sure.
That's it. I have no interest in and if people do, it's great. Me personally, I don't have the interest in chasing a 49. I'm interested in just going to cool places and shooting. I like shooting Easterns. I'll go try to shoot. I'm sure I'll go on a Merriam trip, which is, I think, I want to say one of them northwestern states is heat up with them that we were talking about going. But at any rate, I like going chasing the Easterns. I want to do a Northeast trip at some point. Get after them, see some of that. I went goose hunting up there this September, and that's pretty country. I really, my big one, I want to go to Hawaii. That's my big one.
Yeah,
I really want to go up there.
My wife doesn't like to go on hunting trips so far, but I think if I told her we're going to Hawaii, that I'd be able to persuade her to make that trip.
Yeah, dude. I mean, will it ever happen? I mean, maybe. We'll see. I want it to. I want to do that in my life, but that's going to be a long time from now before I can. There's a bunch of other terrain I'd like to see probably before then. But yeah, I've always wanted to go out there and in the grass. He spends a good bit of time with us, and he goes out there a lot. And hearing the stories, seeing the pictures he's got is pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks freaking sweet. Man, is Rolling Thunder dropping any new turkey products you can kind of tease the folks with here in a couple weeks?
We are dropping. I don't know how much I can do on teasing.
Okay.
But I will say I'm not very good at using one of these, and neither is a lot of people. It's a learning curve utensil for turkey hunters. So do with that as you will. I feel like you can probably use your context clues and figure that out. You guys will.
Just what you're saying is folks need to be at NWTF.
Yes, be at NWTF. Buy your turkey call. We'll have duck calls there too. We're obviously going to have cool duck call stuff in the WTF.
Cool.
It's NWTF's like a holiday. I mean, it's work obviously, but for us, but you see everybody and it's fun, man. That's one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, it's going to be one heck of a good time. I know there's a lot of folks going to be dropping some cool stuff over those couple of days. So if you're out there and you've never made the trip up to Nashville for NWTF, carve out a couple of days and come see it. It's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of folks there. But
I'd imagine Spitzmiller's going to have some new heat.
Oh, okay.
I know everybody's familiar with T. Spitz, Tyler Spitzmiller. He's our design guy for our T-shirts. So I know he's been in the laboratory for the past few weeks, whatnot, cooking on some things. So I'll be getting me some of those as well, patches and stickers and shirts, all the good stuff.
Oh, heck yeah! Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're out there, you heard it here. Don't miss out on NWTF. It's going to be one heck of a good time.
Yeah, don't miss out. And that Saturday, holler at us because we'll be doing the scoreboard with the Park Hillbillies as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the old Park Hillbillies going to be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the scoreboard.
Nice.
I don't know what time after the show. It'll probably be pretty easy to figure out, I'd say. I don't know what time the show ends that Saturday, but it'll be directly after.
Okay. Well, yeah. To all our listeners out there, don't be a stranger. If you haven't had a chance to meet Riley, here's a good opportunity to come shake his hand and pick his brain a little bit and talk ducks and turkeys and bass fishing.
Yeah, come holler. Bass fishing, crappies, bow fishing. That's cool, too. You do that. I love bow fishing. But, yeah, Don't be a stranger, come holler.
Sweet. Well, Riley, thanks for carving out a few minutes and hopping on here with us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you get any more hunts in before the end of January.
It's a sour subject, man. So right now I'm here working. I will hunt tomorrow. I will hunt Sunday, and I think that's going to be it for the Arkansas Wolf.
All right. Well, you got 2 days left to kind of go out with a bang. So hopefully they're good ones. I'm doing some university hunts with Delta Waterfowl this weekend, so I won't be over there in the woods with y'all. But hopefully ducks and the weather and the water is all in your favor, and hope y'all mash on them.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all as well. Good luck. Be safe, and good luck and be safe to everybody else on the rest of the season, man. It's been a fun one. We're gonna be missing it here shortly.
Yep. Enjoy it while you can, because we'll want these days back.
Yep.
So, all right.
All righty. Well, roll tide.
Hey, roll tide, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.
See y'all.
Join the team that is making a real difference. Ducks Unlimited is powered by people like you. With your help, we can continue to raise funds that drive wetlands conservation across the continent. Whether you are out selling event tickets, securing donations, or finding that next sponsor, we have a role for everyone. Sign up today to join your local DU chapter at ducks.org/volunteer or attend your local DU event. Ducks Unlimited, conservation for a continent.